What are the spookiest audio or video clips on the internet? There was a video of a Chinese dude who could do parkour and he always climbed big old buildings, and there was one clip at the end of the tribute where he was slowly losing his grip and you could see the despair he was in. It got to the point where he was slipping so bad on this really big skyscraper he gave up and just jumped off. Screamed the whole way down. Not on the internet, just something I've seen. I worked for a dental surgical office in Oklahoma during my college years. One of my doctor's friends was an OL surgeon that provided free healthcare to the local Native American clinics. The catch is that surgeons are allowed to record these free procedures for educational use, even if that educational use is personal review and development. This dude would show everyone he met this absolutely horrible video of a woman under full anesthesia with a long cut down the side of her jaw for surgery. The surgeon then proceeds to pull aside the skin flaps and open and close her mouth like a puppet, occasionally mimicking words and laughing and pointing at the visible muscles of her face naturally contorting with no skin covering them. Technically legal, but there was something so sinister about the god complex energy in his voice and actions that made me physically tense up whenever he visited our office. I'm glad I'm out of that field of work. There wasn't an egg in the local bunch that didn't have abusive undertones, or, at the very least, a rumored habit of getting high on their own supply. I feel like there is a major difference between something spooky and the depressed for days stuff people are posting. There's a recording of an interview with Ted Bundy on YouTube in which halfway through he suddenly whispers something. I had earphones on when I was listening to it, and it scared the shit out of me. Felt like he was right behind me. Two things. In 2009 I went onto YouTube or Google videos and a featured video started automatically playing. Before I could register what it was, I realized it was footage of the death of Nida Gas-Olsen. It made my blood run cold, especially as I hadn't expected it. She was shot dead at an election protest in Iran, and the way you see her bleeding from her mouth has never left me. Another video that haunts me is one of a group of young girls at the Ariana Grande concert at Manchester Arena. The show has ended. They're filming themselves with the pink balloons they've caught, and then they hear the huge bang of the bomber outside, and then everyone just starts screaming and surging towards the exits. It's just heartbreaking. I'm from Manchester, and that attack will never cease to make me feel sick to my stomach. So many children. Phew. So I'm off to BNGE watch cartoons or something to cheer myself up now. This guy on YouTube that just sits in front of the camera for hours, and he uploads his staring sessions daily. The one that messes with me is the video of that one senator committing suicide because of some allegations. Very messed. I remember one audio of a woman screaming while a chimpanzee was eating her face or something like that. I heard it a long time ago, so I don't remember the details. Her friend was on the phone begging for help, and the call was recorded. I don't remember the audio itself, but I do remember I felt terrible after hearing it. Listening to last podcast of the left, they did a 911 call episode. There's one where a guy calls and says his partner is stabbing her baby with scissors. You can hear her in the background screaming die, die die. Can't remember the episode but it's, yeah, a bad one. There's one they show to new recruits in police academy allegedly never been so IDK, which shows a rookie cop pulling over an obviously very drunk Vietnam vet. Vet gets out, dances around, dares the cop to shoot my ass and just acts all kinds of crazy. Cop tries to reason with him. Vet grabs his gun and a firefight breaks out. Cop is wounded behind his car, crying. Vet comes around and stands over him while he begs for his life. Vet screams die fucker and shoots him in the head, then gets into his truck and peels out. He was in his early 20s, an illywit with a baby at home, and his screams will never leave you. Good morning Reddit. The Skittles yogurt boy that pops up on Reddit sometimes. It popped up on YouTube, which of course had audio, so that was bad. The 1986 Chernobyl distress call in the first episode of Chernobyl TV show. It is spooky because it is real, and most of the people called there didn't know that they are going to dead. I will read, but not click any links. The weekly NSFL thread is here. I'm not even a very religious person, but the audio from the exorcism of Anneliese Michel chills me to the bone. You can find it on YouTube. The audio from that scene in the Grizzly Man documentary from 2005. The documentary is about Timothy Treadwell, a conservationist living with grizzly bears on an Alaskan preserve. When one of the bears he protected turns on him and his partner. Edit. Seems the audio is not the real audio. Still pretty gruesome and freaky. I should not have came here. Either the 911 call from the guy in the tower or the librarian 911 for Columbine. Not an internet clip, but I remember years ago, nearly 2 decades ago, we'd have a holiday every year in a caravan rally, and while they always had a VCR player, they had no actual videotapes, which meant you were to bring your own, I guess. One time during these holidays, one caravan actually had a videotape, me being bored out my mind, because I decided to stay alone as my parents went out somewhere. I decided to play it. Nothing showed up on the TV screen, only a horrible ass noise of wind hitting the mic, then a voice saying in very elongated gaps, "So cold. I can't." Then the video ends like that. Never really came off as creepy at the time. I just thought it was a faulty video and then put it back. Far as I'm aware, my family never came across it either. It was a video of these kids in a city jumping from a pier into the water below. It was a big drop, and it had a bit of concrete sticking out just near the water. There's this one kid who takes a run up and jumps, but instead trips and falls on the concrete below. It doesn't show you the impact, but the sound of happy cheery people turn into screams that stick in your mind. After reading some of these comments, I realize I'm a ref king pussy. I will go with the boudoir suicide. The dang thing was on live TV. I remember hearing the 911 call from Columbine. I've never heard "feel like" in the voice of the woman calling, whereas in the background all you can hear is shots being fired and Eric and Dylan laughing and making jokes. Was pretty fucked.